Today's video I'll be talking about something different, something that has been troubling me. JDM has to lose. And I know you might be like, oh, why must JDM lose? Why must JDM lose? As Dana White said yesterday, as we have all known before, that Islam Ilya depends entirely on who wins this fight. We will be getting Islam Ilya for International Fight Week if JDM loses. In Dana's own words.
Dana, Ilya Topuria did an interview a few minutes ago where he said the winner of this fight is going to determine whether he fights Islam Makhachev or Charles Oliveira on International Fight Week. Can you confirm that that's the stakes attached to this main event too?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts right now, and yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Mate. So you're telling me if JDM beats Belal, which I want to happen, because Belal is a boring fighter. He might be a nice person, seems like a sound guy, shouts a lot of shit, a bit funny on the mic. I like watching his podcast, but I hate watching his fights. He's boring as fuck. He just is. And JDM has a chance to KO him, TKO him, but I don't want that to happen anymore. I want Ilya vs Islam too bad, especially for International Fight Week. You're telling me Islam vs Ilya for International Fight Week? Come on. Otherwise, we get Ilya Oliveira. That will still be decent, but for the main event of International Fight Week, I don't think it's there. It's not a main event of an International Fight Week. Oliveira is still one of the biggest stars in the sport, so it will draw eyes. But I do not think Oliveira has much chance of beating Ilya Topuria. He gets caught in literally all of his fights, and he cannot afford that. Against Ilya Topuria. And we saw even when he goes out with the game plan of wrestling the entire fight, like in the Michael Chandler fight, he still gets too comfortable and gets caught. And that's by Michael Chandler in the 5th. Imagine Ilya Topuria. He would get knocked out. That's why I would much rather the Islam Makhachev Ilya Topuria fight. It is more competitive. It is what we need to see right now. Is the number 1 pound for pound versus the number 2 pound for pound. Because John Jones ain't the number 2 pound for pound. Come on. But Ilya's already said the camp has begun. The camp has already begun for Islam Makhachev. The camp has already begun for Oliveira. So obviously they're all in camps, getting ready. But it would be such a loss to not get the Islam Ilya fight on the International Fight Week. The hype it will bring. You're telling me Islam Ilya on the mic. Oliveira don't even speak English. He don't speak English. You won't be able to get that good back and forth like you'll be able to get with Islam versus Ilya. Imagine the back and forth. Islam's all down for it. Islam loves chatting shit on that mic, mate. He loves it. So get him versus Ilya. Ilya versus Oliveira is nowhere near as hype. It's still hype. It's still a sick matchup, but it is not a main event for International Fight Week. Because it will either be for an interim belt or a vacant belt would be better. But it's probably going to be for an interim belt. It might not be. Due to Ilya having to vacate his title, they might also make Islam vacate his title, but they might not. Because Hunter Campbell was just with them, chilling with them, so they're obviously talking about some stuff. But we need Belal Muhammad to win, and this is what I don't want to say this, but we need him to beat JDM. Because otherwise, again, Oliveira, Ilya for main event of International Fight Week, and that just is not big enough. For the biggest card of the year, we need the biggest fight of the year, Islam versus Ilya. And who does not want to see that fight? Come on, you're lying to me if you're telling me you don't want to see that fight. But sadly, this smiley motherfucker has to win. We need him to win tomorrow. Like, if I stay up to 6 a.m, the thing is, it's a win-win either way, though. Because I want to see JDM spark out Belal. I like Belal's sound. He's not even too bad of a guy. It's mainly, I want to see him get sparked out because he's boring in fights. And I don't want him to be champ anymore. But if he gets sparked out, we don't get Islam Ilya. And I don't think that's a worth it trade-off. I really don't. I really don't. Actually. Because JDM will be right back in there, bringing hype to the welterweight division. And you saw what he said about Ian Gary yesterday and his son, mate. That his son weren't his, mate. I rate that from JDM. But as a UFC fan, as a paying fan, as someone that pays for the UFC, this first couple months of the year has been absolutely horrific. It's been horrific, and one of the ways you'll be able to save this year is by stacking UFC's 317 to the max. You can still get Charles Oliveira on there against someone else, even though he says, "Oh, I'm only fighting for the title," after beating Michael Chandler. Paddy did it better. Paddy literally did it better, mate. But obviously, ex-champ resume. But he did get that second fight against Islam and he pulled out. Obviously it was an injury, it's not his fault, but like, it is what it is. You had two opportunities, you pulled out of one of them. Like, he doesn't need to be getting this many opportunities against Islam when he ain't gonna win. He ain't winning against Islam. If you think he is, you're delusional. But back to what I was saying, we need Belal to win. We actually do. For the health of the lightweight division, for even the health of the welterweight division, because if Islam comes up, it just fucks up the whole title picture as well at welterweight. So it's better if he just stays down, to be honest, especially for this Ilya fight, or International Fight Week. He can take this fight and go up after. Belal would have probably already had another fight by then and would either not have the belt or be looking to move up. So it works out even better. And we still get the Ilya-Islam fight. But let me know what you think. Am I just waffling? Do you want the Ilya vs Islam fight, or do you want JDM to win? Those are the options in a bit.